Hi, I'm Chef Gail Sokol and welcome to my kitchen. Today you're in for a treat. We're making a Blackberry Basil Tequila ice cream. And it's spectacular and it's easy. No eggs, no messy custard. It's just 1, 2, 3. And it uses frozen blackberries. Now we do have to make a blackberry basil syrup and sort of let it muddle and sort of get all the flavors get jiggy with each other, and it's spectacular. So let's start. I don't use fresh blackberries because I don't want to, we're going to puree this and we're going to put it through a sieve to get rid of the seeds. So I don't really want to use fresh blackberries. If you would like to, go for it. This is one 12-ounce package of frozen blackberries, about 2½ cups. So I'm going to put that on my in a saucepan, and I'm going to add 1 cup of water. All right, I'm going to add 1 cup of granulated sugar. And I'm going to add 1½ cups of packed fresh basil leaves. And that is what's going to infuse our blackberries with incredible flavor. And when I mean incredible flavor, I mean incredible flavor. Now this mimics a simple syrup. A simple syrup is basically equal parts of water and sugar, and here we do have equal parts. We have 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of water, and you put them together, and this is what a lot of people do, a lot of bakers and chefs do, to make these flavorful, simple syrups that they sort of you sort of take a pastry brush and you can brush different cake layers with them to add a lot of flavor to things like sponge cakes when they make torts. But bartenders use them too to make special drinks. Well, a lot of pastry chefs use them to make flavorful syrups for ice creams, for sorbets, for granitas, for flavorful ices. And this type of an ice cream is a spectacular dessert. It's not too herbaceous. It's not something that you have to worry about that it tastes too savory for a dessert. It's just right, just like Goldilocks. And a simple syrup is easy. You just have to bring everything to a boil until the sugar dissolves, and then you take it off the heat. And then we let it sort of cool down. We're going to put it through a blender, and we're going to puree everything, including the basil leaves, including the blackberries. And then we're going to put it through a sieve to get rid of all the seeds, because nobody wants seeds in their ice cream. And then we're going to chill it and put a little tequila in it, and very, very, very rule for when you want to make like a frozen dessert, like an ice cream or a sorbet or even a granita. You want to make sure that any alcohol that's in there, if you are using alcohol, really should be to a minimum, because if it's not, it can depress the freezing point of water. What did she say? It can depress the freezing point of water, which means it can be so slushy it won't be scoopable. So much sugar is in this as it is, which also depresses the freezing point of water. Alcohol can push it to the next level. So you really don't want a liquid. You want a nice frozen, but slushy, soft, beautiful ice cream. And that's what this is going to do. And I have perfected this that we don't need any eggs, and gelatos don't use eggs, but they use mostly milk and just a little bit of heavy cream. If you would like to substitute milk or half milk and half heavy cream, there's only about 1 cup of heavy cream in this total. So you could go half and half. With milk, any type of milk will do. You could use oat milk, you can use whole milk, you can use any type of milk. You really do want more of a fully fatted milk, because it will definitely have more creaminess to it, especially because we were putting this alcohol in it. We want to make sure that there's some creaminess, and we don't want any grittiness. And this is what the simple syrup does. It actually melts down the sugar, and we are just about there. And if you could be in my kitchen now, you'd get smacked in the face with a blackberry scent and a spectacular basil scent. It is overpowering. It is beautiful. It is yummy and delicious. Now, if you grow blackberries and you want something to do with the blackberries. We used to have wild blackberries growing on our side, in our side yard, and I couldn't do enough with them. Well, this is the perfect thing to do. So I have a boil already, so I just want to come to a rolling boil. This is a typical simple syrup. Sugar dissolves because it's granular. You shut it off. I'm going to show you what it looks like. It's very herbaceous, and if you tried this now, if you took a little spoonful, it would be yummy. Now I'm going to let this cool down, and then I'm going to show you how I puree it and how I push it through a sieve. But this makes a spectacular alcoholic beverage as well. Yum. So I let my blackberry basil glorious syrup cool down a little bit, because you don't want to put it in a blender and puree it, because it will explode on you and you will have blackberry everywhere in your kitchen. Then you will send me hate mail, so don't do that. So let it cool down. Also allows the flavors to blend, very important in a cold dessert. And now I'm pouring it through a sieve, a fine mesh sieve, set over a bowl. And I'm just going to let that go through. And it goes through relatively quickly. You will have pieces of basil that might not go through, but just stir it gently and let that all go. And then you want to throw out anything that's on the top of the sieve. So if you see any solids like seeds, any pulp that doesn't go through from the blackberries, and little bits of basil, just discard it. It's not something that, that will taste very good. And then this syrup is like gold, blackberry gold. Because what I do is, it's going to be about 2.5 cups, slightly over, just shy of 3 cups. Just know that if you use the amount of blackberries that I recommend. And you're just going to stir it so that everything goes through. You can see it goes through relatively quickly. And what I usually do is pour it into a measuring cup, and then I will add my tequila right before I freeze it in my ice cream maker. But I want my blackberry and basil syrup to really, all those ingredients to really blend together. When I make a cold dessert, I want my ice creams to pop. I want them to have a lot of flavor. And the freezing process actually mutes flavors. So if you have a hot dish versus a cold dish, the cold dish will need to be flavored more, even cold desserts specifically. Very, very important. And I learned that when I did a lot of competitions. If I wanted my ice creams to pop, I tried them before I put them in the ice cream maker, just to see if they were really over the top and spectacular. So this is where your tequila is going to come in. Your basil, there's a lot of basil in here, 1.5 cups of packed basil, and that's the reason, because you want a lot of flavor. See all those little bits of basil and blackberry? Get rid of it. Get rid of it. All right. And then what I do is, you can either leave it like this, but I usually would pour it in here, and you should have about 2.5 cups. Now at this point, this can go many ways. I can add 1 more cup of heavy cream to this, which is, or half milk, half cream, and then a little bit of my tequila. And then you want it to get ice cold. So I'm not going to freeze it right now. It's cool, but it's not ice cold. Your ice cream maker will thank you. Every ice cream you make should be frozen as quickly as possible. It will create the smallest ice crystals and will give you a creaminess on your tongue. So you can put your tequila in now or later, but you want these flavors to get cold and intermingle with each other and get comfy with each other so they can provide as much flavor. So I'm going to cover this with plastic wrap, put it in the fridge, pour my tequila in right before I put it through my ice cream maker. And then if I don't want to put it through an ice cream maker, I can use this as a basis for many drinks, either mocktails or cocktails. And you can do so much with it, like a blackberry basil margarita. Whoa! Absolutely mind-blowing. Your friends will be over every weekend, so you may not thank me for that. But it's delicious. So I'm going to cover this with plastic wrap and get it nice and cold, and then I'm going to put it through my ice cream maker. So I have a smile on my face because I just scooped the best ice cream you will ever make in your life. my Blackberry Basil Tequila. And there it is. It's gorgeous. Look at the color. It's beautiful, and it tastes, when your friends taste it, they won't believe you made it. They're gonna think you got it in a gourmet ice cream store. It is outrageous. There's no eggs in it. If someone has an egg allergy or they don't like eggs, that's the ticket. I hope you make this ice cream. I hope you enjoy it. I wanna hear if you enjoyed it, and I hope you become a subscriber. Till next time.